What's up, anchors?
Hello, anchors.
Well, I came in with the yin, you came in with the yang. I'm trying to bring the energy. I'm trying to psych myself up like this is going to be a good podcast. And you're coming in dragging your fucking ass like this race.
Well,
Brian.
You know what, Matt? The truth will set you free. And the truth of the matter was that this race fucking sucked.
Yeah, guys, don't even listen to the podcast, okay? Just sign off. It's a waste of your fucking time.
No, here's the thing. The race sucked, but obviously this podcast is going to be flawless and incredible.
Yeah, that's true.
Because that's what we do. We take the shit sandwiches that is Formula One and we turn it into fucking Choco Tacos.
All I hear about is how great Monza is as a track and how it's one of the old tracks, how it's a classic track. And then it sucks. It fucking sucks. And I got to ask you something. It's Ferrari's home race. I got to ask, is Monza the Ferrari of tracks?
Oh, speak on it. You know what I'll say about Monza? It's the easiest track to play on the video game because it's all straights. There's 3 fucking turns in it, and it makes me feel like I could be a Formula One driver. And after watching this race, I thought, hey, Nyk De Vries with 10 minutes of preparation could get 9th place. Maybe I could be a Formula One driver.
Wow. That was supposed to be a feel-good story, and then you fucking just took a dump right on it.
Well, here's the thing, Matt. Here's the thing. This race on the surface, to us new fans, we're like, this is a boring race. But you know what? There might be some interesting things that are going on behind the scenes, which is why we have, we wanted to have this guest on because we thought that this race was going to be fucking sexy and we wanted it to be that much more of
no. Fuck that. This was the race he wanted to come on.
Oh, well, maybe. Well, you know what? We'll have to pick his brain as to why, but maybe this race wasn't as boring. And good thing that we have a fucking expert on the podcast.
Dig into the data.
He's a friend of the pod. You heard him, you know him, you love him. We have Blake, aka BRRRAKEF1, on the podcast today. Thank you for joining us, Blake.
Guten Abend, Venkers.
Yeah.
Yes. Good evening, gents. How we doing?
Horrible.
Yeah, not good.
I know.
Horrible.
You thought you were getting the Temple of Speed and you got the Temple of fucking Sleep.
Yes.
That's right.
Yes.
Temple of Z's.
You know what? Hey,
Ferrari didn't even fuck up. I didn't even get to watch them trip over their own dick at their home race.
They kind of fucked up.
Nah, verdict's out yet. We got some data in front of us. I'm not sure, but you know the reason.
But the thing is, if we got to dig into the data to see if they fucked up, then they didn't really fuck up. I mean, the way they've been fucking up, it's like someone with my level of IQ can see it. Do you know what I'm saying?
Somebody who doesn't watch Formula One can look at that and be like, sir, well, there's your problem.
Yeah. See that car over there only got 3 wheels on it. It's supposed to have 4.
Cletus, there's a problem, brother. I mean, you can see it plain as day. It's like, Bob, you're blind. It's like, well, I can see it.
Right. So, yeah, this race sucked. That's it.
You know what the best thing about Monza when you have a shit race, like when you rock up, let's say you get knocked out on lap 1. You know what the best thing about Monza is? In terms of duration, without any further cautions or yellow flags or safety cars, it is the shortest race in terms of time. So, I mean, if you have a crap one, you can get out of there. You can get in the van and get back to the hotel and get a couple of Aperol spritz back at the hotel, or maybe a Campari tonic if you're feeling sophisticated. So,
right, it was a short one. I was looking, I was like, this thing is gonna be like under 90 minutes, which is what you want out of most films, and most films drag on for a very long time. And I thought, at the end, I was like, oh my god, this is gonna be worth this boring little wait for this potential ending. But wasn't meant to be, because apparently they like following the rules now after Abu Dhabi.
I gotta say something. I gotta say, oh, and by the way, for you new listeners, Blake was a Red Bull engineer. That's why.
Oh, right. Yeah. Blake was a performance engineer for Red Bull Racing, the fucking most well-run organization maybe in the world.
Yes.
Don't be so generous to them.
They're pretty. I mean, they're
playing
man.
they're playing against the only competition they have is like Ferrari, and that's like 60% AI this year.
Or Blake, do you feel a little kind of weird that they're doing so well now that you've left?
No. Like if you take me and Dan, Engine Mode 11, out of that organization, the potential, we were absolutely stifling their potential. Now that we're out of that organization, these guys are absolutely to the moon. I'm just glad that I could untether them and let them achieve their true potential, because I had that much impact on
throwing down a lot of drag there. Yeah. I definitely Dan was throwing down a lot of drag with his tweets.
That's right.
Oh yeah,
definitely an unnecessary distraction.
Those trips to HR cost a lot of money, and then that's time that they could put in the wind tunnel and CFD and all that. So realistically,
right.
Yeah.
So wait, Blake, looking at this race, we look at this, we think this is boring. This race sucked. Do you concur, or do you feel like there was stuff that we're missing?
If we're talking about the front of the field, yes, and if we're talking about anywhere else in the field, also yes. But
okay,
but there's some like, here's what this one was. This one was like, it was a cock tease the entire race. You're like,
right,
something good's gonna, like, this is gonna be so exciting. I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't care who wins, but like, we're gonna get a fight on our hands. And then, later in the race, it just doesn't pan out. Like, it's just like, or do something. You're looking at Leclerc and you're like, dude, he's on older tires, harder tires. Can you go catch him, please? And he's like, nah, mate, that's all she's got.
Yeah, so let's get into the Ferrari of it all, because that's like, in terms of something like notable that you could say, like, did one team do one thing wrong today? And the most notable thing that it seemed like Ferrari did wrong was they thought they got a cheap pit, when the reality was they went for a 2-stopper when it was a 1-stopper kind of race.
Man, I'm looking at it right now. And when they pit early, when they go off of mediums, what is it, around like lap 10, 11, you're like, you should be like, putting more laps in those mediums, because, or what was it? No,
they were on soft.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Wrong color dots on my graph. When they're only doing 10 laps on that, you're thinking, okay, so they took the cheap, they took the discount pit stop. They got the pit gap to the McLarens and Sainz, and they zoomed on, but they just looked really shit during the race. I have nothing else to say about it. Their pace just wasn't spectacular.
So is that a car thing?
Yeah.
Or is it a setup thing? Or what do you think? What do you think? Because I don't actually think, I actually was liking what they were doing. They were just going for it. They were being assertive.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, what else? Like, they didn't have the car. So they're like, fuck, we'll take the cheap pit stop. We'll do the second stop. Like, if they did everything normally, they definitely wouldn't have won.
Yeah,
they hung it all out. So I appreciated that.
Yeah, but they didn't cock it up. They you could say, yes, they came in P2, but I don't think they actually fucked it up. I think they got some of their predictions incorrect in terms of their pacing. And there's Charles on the radio talking about his downshifts. I have no idea how that impacted the race. I haven't read any press on that. So was that a one-lapper? Because you do have that where, like, you'll have a glitch for a couple laps and the thing's sorted out, or the engineer.
Well, they told him to stop downshifting, and he was like, no, I'm going to continue doing that. Right. So
okay. Yeah, I didn't actually get to hear it. I was just watching it, so that was kind of that's a weird one.
So the Ferraris in qualifying have all this pace. They Charles out qualifies Max again in Monza. They've they're a leg up in qualifying, and then comes to the race, and it seems like all that pace is nowhere to be found. And Red Bull, who, not that they're anywhere slow in qualifying, but they don't have that edge over Ferrari. They have all this race pace. So, like, what's going on there?
What's the difference?
Why is a car great at qualifying and then like mid in the race?
Yeah. So in terms of, I'm not really sure where the Ferrari's pace on their second and third stint went, because Max could just keep going on his first set for what seemed like an eternity, right?
Yeah.
So two big differences between the Ferrari and Red Bull in qualifying. Red Bull is actually running a bit more downforce this weekend than normal. So this whole season, we've seen Red Bull's been the slippy car, and Ferrari's been pretty great on the brakes, great on traction, and great through medium and high speed corners, right? And the Red Bull's like, well, we've got a pretty slippy car, so we'll trim a little bit of the wing off, because we can afford to go a little bit slower through the medium and high speed corners, right? Well, this weekend, you see everybody with these super flat wings. My hand is like completely flat, and then you see Red Bull's wing, and they've got like a little bit of curvature on that. You're thinking, okay, Red Bull were very fast through the two Lesmos, the two fast right-handers. They're good through Parabolica, and their braking performance wasn't that bad. The only thing they lacked was a bit of straight line, but it looks like they were able to make that last. Max seemed like he had absolutely zero problems with the tires. Checo got unlucky with that early pit stop with looked like a brake or something issue, but for the most part, I think Red Bull having that little bit of extra downforce on it helped them keep the tires under control. And you hear all these weird narratives like if you have high downforce, it's less deg, or if you have high downforce, it's more deg. All those narratives are complete nonsense. Sometimes they make sense, but it's not because of the downforce. Arguably, a lower downforce car has a lot more movement, so you have to be more careful controlling it.
Right.
But you can still achieve a low deg setup with a low downforce setup. It just depends, how close it is to your fastest version of your race car and how much you have to work it. But I think
this is so confusing. So you're telling me that sometimes a high downforce car is great on the tires, sometimes it's bad on the tires. Sometimes a low downforce car is great on the tires or not. Well,
more often than not, you would see a lower downforce car, a substantially lower downforce car. I'm not talking about like a little tweak or taking a gurney off the rear wing.
Yeah.
I'm talking about a lower downforce. You will have more sliding, which will usually tend to be higher degradation.
Yeah.
But you could have an instance, let's say, where you have so much more downforce and so much more speed through the corners that you're putting that much more energy into the tires and then causing them to wear out that way. So it's not like if this then that. It depends on everything. So, but as a compromise, imagine you had a lot of pace and a lot of grip because you put a lot of load on the car. You could go out and race and do qualifying laps and you'd burn them up. Look back, Austria, Verstappen. Remember that he just that first stint, he just blew his tires off and he was nowhere. But
Right.
if you have enough pace in hand and you can back off a little bit and conserve the tires with that high downforce setup, you could actually achieve a very quick race car, which is good for managing fuel and managing tires without sliding too much.
So is that ultimately the difference between a great qualifying car and a great racing car is just tire treatment?
Yeah.
Usually?
Yeah. And then for let's say you have a good balanced car, like you don't have too much understeer and you don't have too much oversteer so that you're snapping on the exits and you're not burning up the tires, spinning them on the exits a lot. If you have a good balance, and you can manage the tires, that will make a very quick race car if the inherent pace of the car is quick. But
so what does Ferrari do about this? Because clearly they have how do they fix their treatment of their tires? Because they have more downforce. They have more downforce than the Red Bull. So shouldn't they feasibly be better on their tires?
They potentially, but I mean that's like those are like the broadest brush strokes. And what we're getting into this is like subtleties and minutia that we don't understand. And honestly, the teams might not know either.
Right.
They might not be convicted of their answers. But in in practice, how long are your long runs? Like 10 laps? 10 laps in practice don't tell you shit about what your tires are going to do in the race.
Right.
When you're doing 10 laps in qualifying and then you're going out and doing 24 laps on a soft tire in the race, very consistent, no traffic, no bullshit. Those are two complete different things. And like extrapolating from that 10 lap run to that 24 lap controlled run in different conditions, they're guessing a little bit. There is a reasonable degree of uncertainty, which is what makes this so much fucking fun.
Now, I might be, this is my hypothesis with regards to the tires, specifically at Monza, because it was like, because you hear, it's like, I was surprised to hear that you could do a one stopper at Monza, given that it was hot. All this, it's like usually in the hotter tracks, it's like the tires just die, but is there just overall less tire deg in Monza because it's just the straight line speed?
Yeah, classically, it's just
straight lines. It's not as much turning.
Straights. Yeah,
exactly. So the tires can just last.
Yeah, so Monza is typically low degradation, and it's like another one of those things. Like, yes, it's warm. Yes, it can be very warm in Monza, but also you spend you do very short bursts of heating the tires up, and then very long periods of cooling them down. So you're not abusing the tires that much. It's interesting seeing a one stop off of a soft. You're like, excuse me.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Max
but if
did
you were
like
Pirelli,
25.
wouldn't
Yeah.
Sorry.
Laps
If you, but if you
on the softs.
But if you were Pirelli, wouldn't you want to create like the softer compound? Wouldn't you want to roll out softer compounds that would make this a 1.5 stop race where it's like, where it's in that to make it exciting, you know?
Yeah, I get that, but maybe Pirelli are trying to sabotage this race and put it on easy mode for Verstappen.
Okay.
That's what I heard on the internet.
Enough dicking around. Enough dicking around with this. Okay, we've taken our
vitamins.
We did it.
Yeah,
we've taken our vitamins. We've taken our vitamins.
We hit the quota of real talk, and now it's time to get slutty.
Okay. We talked about how it was almost exciting, and then Daniel fucking Ricciardo delivered it to us.
Yes.
On a silver fucking platter. He delivered the excitement to us on a silver platter. His engine died. He's sitting there like Nicholas Latifi in Abu Dhabi. It's right there. We know what to do. We know what's next.
We go motor racing, don't we?
We go fucking motor racing.
It's called a motor race, Toto.
It's called a motor race. And for
I blame Toto Wolff. I blame Toto Wolff for this boring ass race. It is Toto Wolff's fault. He went to fucking court. He dressed up in his fucking suit and tie and went to court and sued Red Bull and sued Formula One because he didn't like how it happened last year. And then he was like, you know what? We can't talk to the race director anymore. I want to hear them talking to the race director. I want to hear this.
Sucked.
It was
this. Okay.
Bring Michael Masi back.
Yeah.
Give us the slutty ending we deserve.
Do you really think? Okay, could you imagine if Abu Dhabi ended that way? Max fans, Lewis fans, whoever you are, that would have fucking sucked. Yeah. And Michael Masi understood that. He understood that. And it wasn't even safe. They had the crane out there. They should have just.
That was bad, man. That was honestly bad with live cars on a track, marshals on the track, and a fucking. Those are big cranes. Like those don't. If you hit that with a car, that crane doesn't move. All the energy goes into the car. And
Jules Bianchi.
Yeah,
we've had that happen before. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not like we don't have to imagine it. We know.
No. Yeah,
They should have. It was actually the slutty thing and the safe thing to do. They should have red flagged it. Also, Blake, can you explain something to me, Blake?
I'm on track.
I get it was the rule in Abu Dhabi that all of the cars are supposed to unlap themselves. Why do I give a fuck about all the cars unlapping themselves? What Masi did was the right thing. I get that it wasn't the right thing because it wasn't in the rules and Lewis didn't know, so Lewis didn't pit. I get all that. But why is the whole race sucking so like everyone can unlap themselves? Just have all the necessary people unlap themselves so we can go motor racing. Am I wrong? Well, why does everyone have to unlap themselves?
I think the main reason I can see that everybody has to unlap themselves is if you have this, you do or don't get unlapped, that can have a significant impact. Not necessarily on the front of the race, but on the mid of the race in terms of points you score.
And I don't care about that.
In Abu Dhabi, they were just like, yeah, but for example, the team finishing third or fourth in the Constructors' Championship cares that because that's a lot of cash, right? So I think there needs to be consistency. But like this one was an interesting one because the safety car picked up the wrong Red Bull. The safety car came out in front of Perez. Right. That's why this took an extra lap. But they still didn't get Ricciardo's car off the track because it took them 3 laps to diagnose it.
They should have at least red flagged it. They should have red flagged it. They should have had a fucking standing start.
Yes, I mean that is ultimately the thing that should happen.
And that's what Michael Masi did, and in fucking Baku. And Lewis left the magic on, and we got that moment that was incredible.
Yeah, and people were like, "Oh, that was a
bring him
track.
back."
But at the same point, back between the 2 Lesmo corners where Daniel was parked, that's pretty narrow. And you saw one of the cars having a look, and the crane's there, and there's marshals on it, and he like tucks back into line. I'm like, dude, yeah, I think there's no. In hindsight, they should have red flagged that one, but they need to come up with something consistent to do every time. Otherwise, somebody's gonna be unhappy, somebody else is gonna be unhappy. But if you say
no, they should just do whatever is the fucking coolest thing to do at any given moment, because that sucked. And
yeah,
but sometimes I want it to be fair. What? Well, the whole race sucked.
Yeah, but what if the rest of the race didn't suck and you got to that and it's like, all right, well,
it would have been
I'm absolutely
it would have been anticlimactic.
Right now. Please stop.
It would have been anticlimactic.
Still wanted to finish.
Would have been.
I think it should be a thing where it's like if it's within the last 8 laps of the race, 10 laps of the race, 5 laps of the race, then and you're gonna have a safety car. No, stop it, because the safety car is essentially
add laps.
Yeah, but the adding laps is difficult because under the safety car, you need 5 safety car laps to accumulate 1 lap worth of fuel. So that that's super difficult. Like if so in terms of how much fuel you need to save, because imagine that your normal race, you start the race and you burn 52 laps of fuel.
Blake,
right?
Blake, you're giving me problems. I need solutions.
I know, no, but the solution, you had the answer. You had the answer already, man. Red flag that shit if we want to go racing. Red flag it.
No race should end. No race should end on a safety car. No race.
Yep.
That's it.
Some of the old school fans will disagree, but I felt robbed today of an exciting finish. And I like finishing. What fan watches cars go the fucking speed of a Prius at the end and are like, yeah, that was sick. It was just a little bit faster than Latifi's average lap time throughout the Grand Prix. So,
my God, someone arrest Nyk de Vries for the fucking murder he did of Nicholas Latifi. It was a fucking homicide. He's sitting on the couch like me. He fucking test drove an Aston Martin.
They pulled him. He was wearing his Mercedes shirt and he's down in the motorhome having a coffee with his little Dutch pinky out. A handsome young man. They're like, sir, we need you to drive a Formula One racing car. And he's like, excuse me, I've just finished my macchiato. I'll go drive this race car now.
Sitting in Toto's lap for the last 10 races, just in his lap watching the telemetry. Then he hops into a Williams, a car that, when was the last time he drove the Williams car? And fucking
P1 session ages ago.
Gets into Q3, right? Gets into Q3.
No, Q2, I think. Q2. He made it to Q2, I think.
Where did he start this?
Wait, we're gonna get into the whole grid shuffling. That's a whole other fucking bukkake of shit that sucked and was confusing. But no, he got a lap time. He fucked up, but he did it.
But he outqualified Latifi. He outqualified Latifi, and with literally 20 minutes of notice. 20 minutes. 20 minutes. This podcast has been going on for longer. This one that we're currently recording has been recording longer than Nyk de Vries had time to prepare to absolutely crucify Nicholas Latifi.
Do Nicholas's parents hate him? They're paying all this money to watch him be fucking humiliated.
If it's your kid, you're gonna love him. But at some point, you're like, man, we're gonna have to pay for you to do something else. Like, can't we do carving classes or something chilled out? Like,
is he happy? Does this make him happy?
This is probably making him very unhappy, and it's one of those really toxic things where it's like you commit to doing it right, and then you're getting stomped every weekend by Alex. You get some kid who's not even smelled a fucking Williams car in months, and he's like, yeah, it smells like I'm gonna kick your ass today. And you're gonna fall backwards through the field into oblivion while I score points and push you into 21st in the drivers' championship.
Can you explain to me something, Blake? When you look at Latifi's data, why is he so bad?
He's just slow. Like you look at that.
What does that mean? He's just slow.
He has no confidence in the car. He can't push to the limit the other guys can. The cars are hard to drive, but he just can't do it. Like it's like one of those things. It's like I can't explain it because it's like when you have, for example, when you say
braking too early, it's just
it's slow everywhere, through the corners, on the brakes, getting on the throttle.
That's your expert analysis.
Everything.
He's slow everywhere.
Yeah, it is literally. it's so boring. I haven't even spent that much time looking at, but when I do look at it, it's just like, wow. The telemetry is just like a chalk outline of a body of whoever his teammate is. Just that's what his data looks like. It looks like a chalk outline, and that sucks, man. But it's like you've commit to it, and you're just getting destroyed. Like, but at the end of the day, I'm not going to feel sorry for him because he's driving a Formula One car around the world with daddy's money. I don't feel too bad. And if you're gonna do that and you're gonna rock up and you're gonna be shit, that's on you.
Yeah. And meanwhile, Nyk De Vries, who is currently in 9th place in the Formula E standings, and his teammate is in 1st place. He is losing to his teammate in Formula E by 100 and
is that Van Dorn?
107 points. Yes. Van Dorn, who got ran out of fucking Formula One
by the
gods,
by the
Dark Lord, is whooping his teammate Nyk De Vries' ass, and Nyk De Vries comes in there and has this type of performance.
So if we really look at it, so Stoffel Van Dorn is way better than Nyk De Vries is really good. Stoffel Van Dorn's way better than Nyk De Vries, and Fernando Alonso is way better than Stoffel Van Dorn. So this just all goes back to Fernando Alonso being the best.
Though. Formula E is a weird one though. Like Nick has had how many retirements in the season? 1, 2, 3, 4. He said 4.
It doesn't detract from my point that
no.
Alonso is the greatest.
Hey, guess what? Alonso is better than Latifi. I think that we can definitely say that for sure here today.
The biggest story here was that Alonso was on the cusp of overtaking Ocon in the points, and he was sabotaged.
Alpine. So I was expecting Alpine because earlier in this year it was like everyone was talking about Alpine's straight line speed. In some of the earlier races it was like, oh shit, Alpine cranked it to another level. They've got that extra straight line speed, but today they didn't have shit.
I think their car has so little load on it, like so little downforce that they can't afford to take that much roaring off. So it's like they do have a slippy car, but in order to be competitive in general here, they had to put a little bit of load back on it. And I don't think let's look at the qualifying notes that I made. It wasn't their car's just not great in general. I don't have qualifying sims in P3. Yeah, they were down on the traps. They don't have the qualifying top speeds up, but
Alonso barely even did Q3 because he was like, I can't improve in this time. Like this is we might as well. He just did like one lap.
In Q3 he didn't do shit.
Yeah. Because he was like, it's not gonna happen. The car's just
really
car's not there. So wait, what was that? But that incredible radio of him today.
He just said, "Wow."
Yeah.
That was
he said, is this all the deployment we can use? And they go, yes,
everything's fine.
Is it.
No, he goes, there's something wrong with the deployment. They go, no, it's working at 100%. And he was like, wow.
Yeah.
which is what I'm going to say is my daddy of the day. It is my daddy of the day. Cause it's like when my dad used to say, hey Matt, make a muscle. And I would flex. And then he would feel my bicep and he'd say, I said, make a muscle. And I'd be like, I am making a muscle.
Alonso.
Right.
Wow. Is that all you got, kid?
And now, and or like when we would do a arm wrestling, he'd be like, okay, so I said start, man. I'm like, I am starting. I could demolish him now though, which is awesome.
Hell yeah, dude. That'll be a Patreon episode, us arm wrestling our fathers.
Would be a short episode.
Only dads.
What?
You're not putting that one on only dads.
That's right. No, just yeah. So I mean, what else? What else even happened in this fucking? What else even happened in this race? There's the grid. All these grid penalties, right? Let's talk a little bit about. I mean,
that was nuts.
It's crazy.
If everyone's getting the penalties, there's something wrong with the penalties, right?
But like, here's how I explain the penalty system and how it's working right now. Imagine you've got a race strategy, right? And you say, right, I need to go this many laps, and I'll pit for this tire, and I'm going to lose time on track, right? But I'm going to be on a better tire, and then I'm going to gain places, and at the end of this race, I'm going to finish that. That's exactly what teams are doing with the engine penalties. It's like, well, you know, we don't have to do a 1-engine race. We can do it. We could do a 4-engine season. We could take a 2 penalty season. It's like, if we take it here, we can gain the points back from fitting a new engine, take the points back, blah, 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 because we won't DNF. So all they're doing is optimizing they're playing the game. It's like, if you take a new engine, you get this penalty. And it's like, well, we can recover from that penalty. So we'll take it and put a new engine in the pool.
Yeah, right. but Blake, they have what's the limit? 4 engines, or what's the limit?
The 4th engine, you take a 10 penalty. And then from that, you take a 5 penalty for each component of the engine, effectively.
Okay, but the rule has stayed the same, and they've been adding races. So that just seems.
I think the goal was always to reduce the number, like increase the durability as you develop these engines since the inception of the V6s. So they are trying to make teams stretch them out longer so it looks good. But at the end of the day, teams like Red Bull could take a new engine every fucking weekend and be like,
right.
So yeah, Ferrari probably close to doing that as well. I mean, and not
because you're that much faster with a new engine.
Not because you're that much faster with a new engine, just because if you blow the engine up on track, you lose so many points, right? So it's like doesn't the engines, these V6s from all the ones I've seen, they don't lose that much performance through their life. It's not like you fit a fresh one, you've got a qualifying engine. They're not that much better. Like the old the V8 Cosworths were pretty bad, and the old Ferraris had a little bit of leg in the V8 days. But the Merc and the Honda engines, I think they have very little degradation through their usable lifespan. They just lose
reliability.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, it's like, you know, the further you get down the mileage, the probability of having X, Y, or Z component fail is going up. And you manage that to say, we do not want to have a DNF.
Right. So Max should just take a new fucking engine every week now.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, if he took a new ice every week, I'm pretty sure that's just 5 places for every ice.
Right.
Right. And does that contribute to the salary cap or the the budget cap?
You know what the least exciting thing about Formula One is? Fucking budgets. I pay very little attention to that. I'm not sure what the engine cost allowance is in, because that must just play into it. Wasn't
Matt, wasn't Dan saying
Dan was saying that power that
you can spend as much money as you want in power units.
Yeah. No, well, he said you could put it under powertrains if you have a
powertrains, right?
If you have but that's only if you have
if you're a manufacturer.
If you're a manufacturer, right?
Yeah.
So like a Mercedes and an Alpine and a
right.
Who's the other?
Well,
Ferrari, right?
Right. Well, let's to go over officially what these fucking who took how many places after qualifying. It's like Pierre Gasly had an incredible tweet, which was, "Can someone tell me what place I'm going to be starting in tomorrow?" I mean, Pierre Gasly winning.
He said, "What position am I starting in?" And someone tweeted a picture of him sitting in the car, probably in this position.
So Max Verstappen took a 5-place grid penalty. Esteban Ocon, 5-place grid penalty. Sergio Perez, 10 places. Valtteri Bottas, 15 places. Mick Schumacher, 15 places. Kevin Magnussen, 15 places. Yuki Tsunoda started from the back of the grid. So did Lewis Hamilton, and so did Carlos Sainz.
But if you're all starting from the back of the grid, how do they decide who ends up in the back of the grid? They can't all tie.
It's it's whoever. Like, that's where you try to out-qualify your people. Right. Carlos started in third to last, then Hamilton, then Yuki started last because Yuki was not, didn't out-qualify either of them. I mean, it's just like, that's 9 people. That's 9 drivers. That's just under half of the fucking grid.
And it makes it watching qualifying very just like, wait, does any of this even matter? Like it's just I'm very detached watching qualifying
but I still like it just to see who's quick, like of course Alonso didn't do his lap because he's like, nah, we're not going faster than this. And that makes sense. That's strategic. But if you're on the cusp anyway, you're like, fuck it, we'll just park it here. But seeing that the Red Bull guys and the Ferraris go out, like Leclerc's pole lap, not bad.
Yeah, if I was Leclerc, I'm like, why are you even getting pole? It's just gonna hurt more when you fucking blow this thing. Fucking. Okay, I want to ask you another question, Blake. All right, we had more vitamins, now more sluttiness.
That's right.
Yeah. Good.
what's going on here? What's going on with okay, Russell? Not since the greatest driver to ever live, Nico Rosberg, has someone beat Lewis Hamilton in equal machinery. What's going on here, Blake? Is George Russell the greatest driver since Nico Rosberg?
I've got two possible takes. Neither of them are necessarily my opinion. I won't tell you which one's my opinion, right? But I've got a couple
that's
takes.
Not fun. You got to say
I'll tell you my opinion.
Gonna...
Fuck it. I'm gonna
yes!
lean into it.
Yes.
So there was the narrative at the beginning of the season that Lewis was testing stuff, and that's what the team said. And probably he was testing stuff. But what does testing stuff mean? Does that mean he should be a half second off? Does that mean he should be 500ths off? Who knows? What was clear was Lewis did not get on with the car at the beginning of the season. And, we went through the whole porpoising thing. Thanks, fuck, we've not talked about porpoising in ages because that was so boring. It's like, hey, a bunch of teams fucked up with the regs, and now we're talking about some stuff, and it's boring, and we've got to make some changes. Fuck that. Now, everybody's over that, and the teams are in the pecking order. The pecking order has not changed. Some of the midfield teams have gone all over the place, but I honestly think Lewis is a little bit checked out of this season. He came off the back of last season, got screwed, and now he's like, car's not good. Should you as a performance thing, should you invest, how Rosberg said he basically had to murder himself to stay at that level to compete with Lewis. He was pretty clear about that.
Right.
What's Lewis's incentive for doing that right now?
So you see this as,
are you saying, Blake, that he's doing this to take away Rosberg's claim to fame? That this is a spite move?
No. I don't think it's a spite move.
Because now Rosberg's not the only one to beat Lewis in equal machinery. This must be devastating Rosberg.
No, yeah. Oh, Rosberg's like, no, he's good. Rosberg return arc.
Yes. Rosberg's claim to fame when he introduces himself to people is like, "Hi, I'm Nico Rosberg, world champion, beat Lewis Hamilton in equal machinery."
Yeah, but what he's gonna
now he can't say that. Now he can't say that anymore.
He's gonna have to come back and destroy George Russell.
Right.
That would be a driver pairing and a driver matchup that I would fucking kill to see.
He would have to race on his own track because he's unvaccinated. They would have to figure out
exactly. It's like these free range tracks only for him.
No,
he'd be racing with ghost cars. They'd have to go with ghost cars.
He'd pull an Aaron Rodgers. He'd just show up and been like, I'm immunized. I'm immunized. and I'm really excited to be back here working for Petronas.
Yeah, no, Nico is fucking devastated that George Russell's winning right now.
So interesting. So your take, so your thought is that Lewis Hamilton, so George Russell's beating Lewis Hamilton this year, but Lewis Hamilton is just kind of giving it like a once over. He's not even giving it his full. And because that makes sense because there's maybe not blood in the water. Lewis is like, I'm getting older. What am I going to really go full out in this season where I'm not going to win? No, I'm going to save my energy, he's
saving his fucking power.
He's saving his tires.
Yeah,
he's saving
exactly.
his tires.
Yeah, it's a sprint, man. Or it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. And honestly, I think Russell's probably pretty good. He rocked up. He's been driving a Williams for ages. That's probably not a very fun car to drive. Then he hops in a Mercedes like, holy fuck, this thing's got grip. It's got downforce. This one, maybe not, but it's better than what he was driving. And he's thriving. And Lewis is like, boys, what have you done? This car's an absolute bag of shit.
So your hot take is that he's checked out, not that he's lost a step?
No matter what I say, people on the internet are like, oh, you hate Lewis. I'm like, no, I think Lewis is one of the fucking best drivers. I don't think Russell's necessarily on his level. Russell's doing pretty fucking good. But last year, the car turns out to be a piece of shit. It looks super uncompetitive. And when the car's been in the window, Lewis has been there. And he showed up today. Right. The car was just not competitive today.
Well, he got
I don't know, man.
fifth. He started in 18th, and he finished two places.
It's not
behind,
like he's not.
Russell.
It's not like he's not hungry. It's not like he's not hungry. When he's there, when he's got a chance, he's fucking taking a bite out of it.
Sometimes. Well, what to what you said is like this season when he goes, when there's a chance for them to get 10th, and he's like it's not working out. Lewis will
He's like,
sometimes go,
"Let's
retire the
fucking park it.
car.
Let's park it. Yeah, exactly.
My favorite is when Lewis says retire the car, and they're like, no. Lewis, the car's fine.
That was
Drive the
Barcelona, wasn't
car.
it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
retire the car.
I got in a lot of trouble over that one.
What did you say?
I just
Repeat it, please.
No, it was the conversation, right? From me personally. So nobody else on the fucking Twitter net has my stance on this because they haven't done it. So my opinion is
right. You fucking pieces of
like,
shit who've never fucking walked a mile.
Yeah, but
in
like
Blake's shoes. Blake's been on the track in his fucking bike. Okay, he's actually been there.
Yeah,
he's actually driven.
Guess what? When Lewis and fucking and Nico crashed in fucking Spain, and Max took his maiden victory, Blake was his fucking engineer. So shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
But like, this is like, people say if you say something not glowing about one person, you're taking a stab at them. It's not me taking a stab at anyone. Remove the names from this conversation. We'll go back to that nondescript event. You've one driver, his car's not working. He's upset and he's letting you know. You have another driver who's had a shit first lap or whatever lap it was, and he's not likely to get some points and he wants to park the car. And it's a personal question. You as a person, which one of those people that you're working with, which one do you want to help get back in the fight? Which problem do you want to fix?
The one who's bitching or the one?
The one who's not bitching.
Okay. Well, then
the one who
you
doesn't want to retire the car.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. But like, if somebody's like, "Hey, the car's not working. What do we do? Can you fix it? It's still fucking broken." I'm like, "Right. I'm on. I'm fixing it." If my driver if my driver goes, you know, I want to retire the car. I'm like, why? You know, I have the numbers. I know that we're going to do well. Why do you want to retire? But then at that point, that's what the race engineer does. And you saw Bonner do it. He's like, "Go on, mate. Get back in it. We can get points out of this." And he's like, "Okay, good." You know, like you can't do that in Twitter's 250 characters, whatever. You can just say, "Here's point A and B," but there's also the fucking appendix of all the other things that go on. But like, that's the race engineer's job, is to get your driver back in the game or to keep your driver calm. But personally, if my driver's checked out, I'm kind of bummed out. If my driver's pissed off, I'm activated.
Speaking of driver engineer, what do you think of this cloying, weird attitude that the Ferrari engineers are taking with their drivers? They're like, "So what do you think about possibly plan C?"
I think that's good. And that, to me, the Ferrari engineers, and there's two parts of that. One of them is English is not their first language, so those communications do seem a little bit drawn out, right? They're a little bit like, okay, but like that's fine. They're communicating.
Whose fault
English.
is that? They only fucking hire Italians. Okay,
no, but that's fine. But the second part of that is actually thinking back to what was it? Was it Silverstone? Or you know, like they're basically they've had a couple of late calls during races on strategy, which did not properly consider the driver's input, and they fucked themselves. That is actually the Ferrari engineers double checking that the drivers are happy with that, because basically what they don't want to say is,
Charles, it doesn't inspire confidence.
No. I don't think so, because at the end of the day, the engineers have a data on what they think the pace is going to do, but the missing piece of that puzzle is hi, driver. But basically what they don't want to, when they say maybe plan A, maybe plan B, what they don't want to say outright is, "Hi, Charles, we would like to stop for the soft. Do you think you can, is the soft going to be a good tire? Do you think you had too much graining the first time you ran it? Or would you like to use the medium, but we think the medium is this or that?" It's like basically like a very shorthand of that conversation. And they're asking them, "Tell me what your preference is on what you can race," without like spelling the whole thing out. So it seems a little bit drawn out. All the teams do that. And they've been broadcasting the Ferrari messages a little bit more, but I guarantee you all the teams are the good teams and good strategy teams and good race engineers are getting feedback from their drivers if there's question marks. And that's what they're doing now. And that is actually, it sounds like they're fucking around, but to me, that's a sign of them actually improving.
Interesting. So they've taken the notes. They got together and they said, "Let's keep these lines of dialogue open."
Yeah, exactly. But like, because you see it like Monaco, Carlos was like, "Fuck that. No, I'm not doing it. I want to stay out. Let me stay out on this tire." And then Leclerc was like, "I trust you."
Right.
Well, I trust you to fuck me, because I should be winning this championship.
Do you think that Charles really could be winning this?
Yes.
I mean, do you think? Yeah,
What?
right.
Yeah.
What do you mean? They don't have the car at this point.
I think they still have it. But
You think they have the car right now?
Today, since the break, they haven't, but they should be ahead, if not tied.
A black cat, literally.
Yeah.
Literally.
As Blake was saying that, a black cat ran in the background into his room.
Let's see what Sterling thinks. What do you think? No, he said Ferrari don't stand a fucking chance. I'm out of here, mate.
Blake's like, don't fucking put me on the spot.
But yeah, that dialogue, it sounds weird. That is actually a very important piece of the driver strategy, the pit wall driver communications during a race. That's actually super good, and that to me shows that they've actually improved.
See, I'm trying to come in with these hot takes, and you're fucking making nuanced
takes.
But they're making this shit fucking lame.
That's what
Come in with. Yo, give me some smoke, Blake.
Yeah,
what's some hot shit that you saw from this race?
Yeah, what's a takeaway that you took from this?
Let's rally everybody around a common cause. I can, for a fact, say that Sebastian Vettel, his radio communications after getting knocked out in Q1 every weekend are fucking destroying my soul. Hearing that,
no, but he's mailing it in. He doesn't actually care.
I think he cares. Man. But that's like, imagine your swan song is knocked out in Q1 end after end after end after being a 4-time world champion.
Yeah, doesn't that say that seems to be like how it goes though, doesn't it? I mean, that's what happened to that happened to Schumacher. Yeah, not Rosberg, bitch.
That's right. That's
Brittany, bitch.
That's right. That's what makes Rosberg, he's the outlier. But same thing happened with Kimi. Seemed to happen with Schumacher. I mean,
you're also leaving out one other person.
Fernando.
He's his redemption arc, his Big Daddy Energy redemption arc. He'll be 60 years old, winning World Driver Championship.
Do you think that Aston Martin has a chance to really make their way up the grid in the next few years?
I don't think a driver can make a difference to that team. Like a driver can break the team, but a driver on their own will not revolutionize that team. That is up the maybe 10, 20 years ago, you could have a driver mold a team and make it his team and, adapt it and make it a competitor.
Right.
Now the machines are too big. There's too much fucking inertia. You're not.
But with all their money that they're throwing in, I mean, it's not necessarily just Alonso. I mean, I think they're building their own wind tunnel. They're throwing money. It's not working yet. And it's like, Dan was pretty it's like throwing money at a thing doesn't solve a problem, but if they get some of the right people,
but it's still going to be 3 years before any of that stuff makes a difference.
Right.
And what's Alonso's contract?
Yeah, I think it's like 2. I think it's 2 years.
No, he said he's fully committed to the 5-year plan. So
okay, so it's 2 years.
Yeah.
Fuck. Yeah, that's one of those things like that takes you can throw money at it, but it's the right people and getting those right people working together. Because you could have 5 of the right people and they're the wrong right people together, if that makes sense. And if they're not pushing the same direction and the boss isn't strong enough to be like, hey, fuckers, get in the line. Here's the direction we're going.
Right.
But that's it. Yeah.
Daniel Ricciardo. Blake. Break. You are in charge. I spent the 200 million, whatever the fucks, on a team. I make you the team principal. Daniel Ricciardo makes a call and it says, I'd like to go driving for brake racing.
That's pretty good.
What do you say?
Well, what if we have a car that doesn't suit him? I need an adaptable driver. I can.
How do you know? Are you hiring him or not?
No, not at this point. No.
Who are you hiring? Who are the 2 guys on the market that
on the market?
Yeah.
I'm not. You know what? I'm not actually sure how I'm gonna get this dude out of here. Hey guys. He wants to show you his butthole, but I'm not gonna let him. Two. I'd take an Alonso.
Fuck yeah.
I'd take an
Yeah,
Alonso all day
but
long.
he's hired. He's fucking wiped up with
Who are the free agents then that we're fucking with? Mick,
Gio, Mick,
Giovinazzi, De Vries.
Ricardo,
maybe Gasly.
Gasly's not official to Alpine.
But it's
I'd fuck with Gas, man. I'd fuck with Gas, man. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I really like Gasly, but I don't know if is Alpine. Do you think Gasly is like the lead driver, like for real, the lead driver of a top team, like a Leclerc, a Verstappen, a Norris?
I don't feel like either Ocon or Gasly are the lead driver right now. I know they've been around for a while, but I'm not sure about that.
You want to hear something depressing? De Vries, someone, a fan emailed us. De Vries is 27 years old.
Yeah.
He's older than fucking Ocon. Ocon's had his fucking day. Why did they sign him to an $1 million deal?
But because somebody that signed that contract was like, we paid somebody else a lot of money, so why don't we just, like, we've got some cash burning holes in our pocket. We don't need to spend that on the car or the facility or anything else. We'll just get this guy. That was.
Can you explain Ocon to me?
Not really. But like the guys that worked with him at Force India rated him very highly. At Racing Point and whatever. The guys that worked with him, they're like, yeah, he's a total dude. He's top line. But like when he was racing his teammate, and that was Perez too, but like that was spicy. I don't know who that was, but
what do you mean?
Like, I don't know.
When he was, crashing into Perez and
shit like that.
Yeah,
I'm not sure that was Perez. That doesn't sound like Checo to me.
Right. So you're saying that Ocon is a little piece of shit? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm just saying he's fucking super aggressive, and there's no division. You're my teammate. You're not my teammate. I don't give a fuck.
Right.
That's fair.
There's some beef. That's why there's some beef with him and Gasly. I don't think
exactly.
Was it Paul DeResta that was like, Ocon, you might not get along with Gasly. That might be, he might, and then someone else was like, and then DeResta, I think, was like, he doesn't get along with any of his teammates.
Yeah, it's true. This is through. I think it's time to maybe get into our little award ceremony.
Ooh.
Okay.
Ooh.
So, Daddy of the Day, who we got?
You want me to go?
Yeah.
Go.
It's probably a 27-year-old gentleman drives electric milk floats around a racetrack and is rocked up, sniffed a car for qualifying, hopped in the seat, and absolutely dunked on his teammate. He finished P9 to bring home some points, while his teammate, who has quite a bit of time in this car and with this team, he finished a lap down. Wow. I mean, fastest laps in the race. Not too much different, a couple tenths, but I think Nick's kind of a dad. I mean, he's old enough to have a couple kids, so
damn.
Well done to De Vries. Well done to De Vries.
I mean, Nyk de Vries has more points. He has more points this season than Nicholas Latifi, and he's done one race. So that
Nicholas Latifi is 21st in a 20-driver championship.
So he sunned him hard. Hard. Matt, Daddy of the Day, who you got?
My Daddy of the Day, I said it was to Alonso for the deployment thing, but I'll give another one to Yuki Tsunoda, who, when asked about the conspiracy, basically said that he should get an MRI. Anyone who asked that should get an MRI of their head.
I watched that back. I watched that whole scenario back from his onboard with the driver engineer communications. None of that seemed weird to me. Like, all of that made sense, what was going on, and the diagnosis of that, and the misdiagnosis of the unfit wheel. Then they confirmed it, and then they found that it was a diff. Like that, all that, like watching that back, I felt like I was back at the rack, standing in the alcove, looking at the data when that was happening. And he's saying, I've got a wheel loose, and getting distracted and not realizing the diff's fucking shit itself when I left the pit lane. So Yeah, MRI scans should be free for anybody that's
You know how many
posting.
times my father asked if I should get my head examined? That was a daddy of the day move. Okay.
Yeah.
Daddy of the day move. How about you, Brian?
My daddy of the day move is there was so little daddy energy today.
LDE,
It was an
little
orphan.
daddy
It was an
energy.
orphan. Monza
It
was
could maybe go. It could maybe go as a little like of yeah, we said the Alonso with the wow, but I guess my daddy of the day would, it could go hottest moment of the day, but was Lewis's double kill.
That was
Lewis's double
calculated,
overtake.
bro. That was sexual.
That was a sexy little move by Lewis, going around the outside. Who was coming out of the pits? Was it De Vries was coming out of the pits?
It was Norris, I think.
Norris coming out of the pits, and he just took them both. He was coming in. He thought he was battling both, and then Lewis, old man Lewis, with his little old man strength, coming in and doing a double kill.
Well, that was crazy because Norris. Well, they told Norris wanted to pit. They wanted to pit Norris to undercut. I think it was Gasly, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they actually asked Ricardo if he could slow down and hold up Gasly. If you're Ricardo, do you do that?
Well, if I was Ricardo and I was checked out, I'd be like, hey, you guys can lick my ass. You know?
Yeah, it's like, what does he owe? What does he owe them? He doesn't owe them fucking shit.
Well, the only thing was fucking Norris had a shocker of a 5-second pit stop, which chucked them back into it. If he hadn't had that, right, Lewis would not be Matt's, right, wouldn't be Brian's daddy today.
Right. But I guess my question is what happened to Ricardo this week? Because I mean, is it just the usual? Because he was right behind him in Monza. I was like, oh, is this going to be another one of these? Does Monza just speak to him? And then he got a jump, and then Lando had the wheels. He had the anti-stall or whatever the fuck. What does that mean when you have anti-stall like that? Like, whose fault is that? Is that the car's fault? Is that the driver's fault?
It's usually a compromise between the driver and the guy who sets up starts, the control systems engineer. So maybe they went. So it was either a driver procedure or the grip target that they had in mind. So you look at the grip and you say, okay, here's how deep you need to go on the clutch on the first dump of the clutch. And then you slip it for a bit, then you release it and finish going on the throttle. He basically stalled the car. So he over-engaged it and stalled the car. So he has to pull both the clutch paddles, then go again to fix from the anti-stall. Because the anti-stall basically says, you're about to stall the fucking car. I'm going to pull the clutch for you. And I need you to pull the clutches to say that I've understood that you've caught the clutch for me. And in order to gain control of the clutch again, I need you basically grab both the paddles.
Interesting.
So Ricardo's usually nowhere in qualifying. He was closer, and is he usually nowhere? Was he nowhere in race pace today?
I didn't see what happened. He stopped around lap 18 and then just kind of went nowhere.
He was behind. He was way behind Lando. Yeah,
but because he stopped on lap 18, like at that up until that point, he was leading Lando because Lando got away.
Yeah, that could also be my daddy of the day is Ricardo's sexy start and Lando's shitty start. He was coming in with that, like, when the old guys
stopped at 18. Why did he stop at 18?
His pit stop was at lap.
He did a pit stop at 18.
Lap 19 or 20. Sorry, but yeah, he's running fourth on the road for an age until Sainz came through.
Yeah,
it wasn't bad. It was impressive. He was holding up everybody, but they couldn't get around him. Ricardo was leading. He was the choo-choo train conductor for a little bit.
So you would say he had a good. So you would say he had a good race until.
I'm not sure what happened. I need to go back and look at that because I don't see what tires.
But somehow Lando was positioned to be ahead of him after he was ahead of Lando. So, do they just bone Ricardo on strategy now?
Yeah, probably.
I mean, but when Ricardo pit on lap 19 or 20 on new tires, he was going the same pace as Lando was doing on his fucking 30 lap old. What did he start on? I don't have the charts in front of me, but yeah, I don't have the race start tires. So,
yeah. All right, hottest moment of the day.
Hottest moment of the day. Hottest moment of the day for me is fucking "Here's to you, Mrs. Albon. Nyk De Vries fucked his wife.
Oh my God.
It's like it's like The Graduate, right? Nyk De Vries is this fucking young kid.
27-year-old young kid.
Yeah, he's
27.
older
He
than-
looks like a child. Okay,
4 years older than
I
Albon,
want-
but you know,
I want I want that skincare routine. I want that. He's this kid. He's in high school. He's been fumbling around with young girls. And then Mr. Albon is away on business. And his fucking car, Mrs. Albon, invites him in and he says, Mrs. Albon, are you flirting with? Yeah.
Would you like a
Mrs.
cup of
Albon,
tea?
exactly. Yes, exactly.
Slide right into your cockpit.
Yeah, exactly. And Nicholas De Vries, if I was a teenager and an older, more sophisticated woman, because he's driving in the simpler cars, right? With it's not like
It's those kids that all their
Formula-
motors and
a
gadgets
Formula
and
One-
stuff.
Yeah, Formula One car is like a grown woman. It's got all these buttons and gadgets. It's complicated.
Mhm.
It's complicated. And if I was Nicholas De Vries, I would have put that shit into the wall and blown up everything in 3 seconds. Not Nicholas De Vries.
He finished. He took it
finished
all the
that
way to the
fucking
finish
race.
line.
He took a grown ass woman to the finish line. He
Hey, man.
delivered.
Hey, man. But we got to
Like-
witness that experience today. What if we witnessed Albon today? I think we could have seen a better performance.
Yeah, because Albon's been with
knows all the
Jennifer
moves,
Coolidge for a
right?
while. But Jennifer,
Yeah, exactly, right.
yeah, that car dropped in on Nyk De Vries like Jennifer Coolidge in American Pie. And most people see Jennifer Coolidge and they lose their shit, but not Nyk De Vries. He went gulp, and
Yeah.
he fucking made it happen.
I went, hi, Nick. Hi. Hi, do you want to drive my car, Nick? Nick's like, oh my God, is he ready for the moment?
Oh, Lord, have mercy.
Just imagine,
I'm
and then
about to
Albon
bust.
comes, oh, hi. Oh, wow. Wow,
Nick.
you took it to P9, Nick. It's my busted ass Jennifer Coolidge. Shout out to the god Jennifer Coolidge, legend of the game.
Wow.
That's
Hello?
All right, Blake, hottest
Well, I
one
was
of the
gonna- I
day.
was going to circle back to
We should have just fucking ended the podcast abruptly.
Yeah. oh
Wow, Nyk De Vries. Wow. Took me to Q2.
Yeah, she's been hanging out with Nicholas Latifi all day. She's like, oh God, this is boring. This sucks.
All this guy talks about is fucking Nutella.
Is that a Nikki? Hottest moment of the day. We saw a little bit of interesting action with who was that? Mick and Gasman? Or who was no,
Mick
it was
and Latifi.
Mick and Latifi were giving me
yeah.
fucking
Oh,
Abu
I
Dhabi
was gonna say,
flashbacks.
Yeah.
So much Abu Dhabi fucking flashbacks.
But like it's one of those things, like it's been so controversial all the time. It's burned into our memories. I can't go a day without just making a reference to Abu Dhabi 21. I can't do it. I can't do it.
Right.
Yeah, today was rife. Today was
Yeah.
it was the safety car,
Yeah,
it
you
was
guys are
the
missing Michael
unlapped
Masi.
cars,
Yeah.
it was them finishing the race. It was fucking Mick and fucking Latifi going wheel
I'm like,
to
what the
wheel
fuck are you
for
guys
14th
doing?
and 15th.
Yeah,
Who
and that's-
gives a shit? You're
and
not.
that's-
You're
and that's the
who
bad
gives a
part.
shit? Someone actually put in Twitter that we should have nominated Mick for like hottest moment for his sexy overtake of Latifi. I will never give Mick hottest moment. Or
but,
I will
like,
never
I
give
was
Evan
looking
one hottest moment for an overtake of 15th to 14th. I'll never fucking do it. And he locked up. And almost crashed And we almost had Abu Dhabi all over again.
All over again.
Can I just say something? All these people okay. So all these people, they love giving props to people that don't do anything.
Nothing happened in the whole fucking race. That was the problem, though, wasn't it? It's
but everyone's like everyone who loves Mick and Ocon and late era Vettel. It's the same people that gave it that love the royal family, you know?
Yeah. I mean,
they're
the thing.
useless. They don't do anything. Why? Can you explain to me the people that love Meghan and Harry? I'm like, they left the family that is useless. They left. They're not even in they don't even do the duties of the useless family.
Yeah, they're out. They checked out already. Like, this is not for us. But this is one of those
My
races
grandma died last week. She was 96. No one gave a fuck. I said, my grandma died. Oh, how old was she? I said, she's 96. They go, oh, well, you know.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But because her ancestors fucking raped and pillaged their way into England, I'm supposed to care?
Yeah, you should. Not really.
Blake, how do you feel about the Queen? I have something against the Queen. It's the royal family.
I have no interest in the entire thing.
It's the fact that we're in 2022.
Hey, Matt.
Sorry. What?
Let's let Blake speak.
Sorry.
No.
Sorry.
That's an equal opportunity interrupter for all you fucks out there. That was prime. That was primo, baby. And he was, you know what? And he was on a roll. When he's on a roll, it's hard to pull him back. But he's burning out his tires.
So in the top three, there were only 2 overtakes on track. No, only one overtake on track.
And he goes right back to okay.
Yeah,
sorry,
I have no interest in the royal family. It's like, it's the Queen of England died, and like, okay, that happens.
Okay.
I've been here for 12 years and I don't know anything about the royal family. Like,
okay,
it's just it. But the race, we got cock teased the entire way for a great finish, and the only body that really finished was Albon's car.
You said, oh yeah.
Oh, were you gonna give? Wait, who were you? You were gonna give hottest over of the day to?
No, I was talking about it. It's like that would have been spicy if they'd collided.
Right.
There's not a whole lot of sexuality in this race for me. There's nothing that hot that gets me going. You know, like we're talking about a bunch of 4s and 5s. Like if I had to rate this Grand Prix out of 10, it's getting a 5, man, or
Leclerc
less.
on the yellow is a 10.
Yeah, I was vibing with those yellow race suits.
That dude can wear anything.
That's true.
He's still a fucking handsome dude. So
that's
good on him.
Yeah, I'm gonna give my hottest moment of the day to Carlos Sainz. Kind of this whole weekend, because Carlos Sainz had a little bit of an edge on Leclerc, and he was kind of he didn't out qualify, but he was kind of like I didn't get the toe. And in Q1 and Q2, he was at the top of those charts, and he had a great little race today. It was one of those things where it's like today, we talk about the speed of the cars, but he, and Perez were both down at the bottom in the 2 top cars, and he outperformed Perez. Now Perez had to take that pit, but even before he had to go in early for the pits, it seemed like Sainz had the edge on him today. Sainz had a sexy little race, and he looked good in that yellow suit.
What's going on with Perez?
Dude, like his pace in the race doesn't actually look too bad. Stopping before lap 10 when you started the race on a medium.
Yeah.
That's a shit sandwich. He wasn't too far off in qualifying. He's just been not on it.
But that car is a world killer.
Yeah, it is.
Isn't it?
If you can drive a car that's pretty fucking aggressive, and he's whatever that characteristic of that car is, he doesn't like that characteristic. It's the same. It's not to the same degree as Ricardo in the McLaren, but it's that kind of thing.
Right.
It's like it's not his type of car, and like they can make the car his car, and that's what he's probably having to drive, but it's a couple tenths off. Whereas Max is like, nah, I can take a little bit more instability. It's fine. I can deal with it. I can drive it. That doesn't bother me. I can trust it, whereas Checo's like probably going into this corner and saying it's not stable enough. I feel like it's going to snap at any moment. Well, it's not, because Max is fucking full scented and he's finding a couple tenths around the lap. So his race pace didn't look too bad. I'm just kind of staring at it. It doesn't look abysmal. It's just difficult to compare because he stopped on lap 8, went super long from there. And it's like, yeah, Max did a soft medium.
Right.
They're not particularly comparable. It looks, though, I think Sainz would have got Russell at the end, just looking at the gaps. It would have been it should have been, without that safety car, I think we would have seen Sainz on the podium instead of Russell.
Ferrari 2-3. Interesting. Yeah, Sainz looking real good.
Yeah, they
Sainz
seem like
looking real good.
But like is it just a matter of moments before we see them? Here's the thing. We're going back to some big downforce tracks. We got Singapore, the biggest, dirtiest, nastiest, chunkiest rear wings on those cars. Walls coming at you. And it's sweaty and it's hot. They're going to be dripping. That's real sweat, because athletes do indeed sweat. So it could be, we could see a completely different shift in the grid. Mercedes probably going to be a bit more competitive.
Okay.
So I think Singapore could be slutty Singapore.
Red flag of the day. Now the red flag. This is a sponsored segment. This segment is sponsored by Flags for Good. Flags for Good is a flag company that makes flags that they believe in, woke flags that you can actually stand behind, like take down the monarchy. I don't know if they have that flag, but that would be an example of a woke flag. That'd be an example of a woke flag they might have. And for a limited time, they are doing a Halloween run of flags. Halloween's coming up. It's fucking fall. Summer's over. Get the fuck over it. I know Singapore can be hot, but it's hot all year long. It's where everyone who listens to this podcast lives. It's coming on the fall. So Halloween's coming up. So go.
Guys,
so yeah.
If you don't think climate change is real, that's fine. But we can all agree that Halloween is the best fucking holiday, and these Halloween flags are not only cool, but they're practical. How are kids supposed to know whether or not you fucking bang with Halloween? How are they going to know? You get a fucking flag.
Fly that flag.
That's right.
Fly that flag.
Impress your kids. Impress your kids. Impress the kids around the neighborhood. Yeah. And honestly, you don't have to put up all this crazy shit if you've got a fucking flag hanging outside your house that says, "Hey, baby, it's Halloween. Come grab some candy from me." Okay.
Yeah, and buy like full size candy.
That's right.
Right. Buy big. Like
I've been getting real into Butterfingers recently. I had 3 Butterfingers the other day. There's Butterfinger wrappers strewn about the trash cans of my house, and I was reignited with my love for them. And nothing would make me happier than if I was a little kid. I saw a Flags for Good Halloween flag outside your house. I went in there, got a full-size Butterfinger. That would be a legend move. So go to flagsforgood.com, use the code REDFLAGS for 10% off your first order, and buy some fucking flags. Boys, what was our red flag of the day? Obviously, my red flag of the day is the fact that there was not a single red flag in this goddamn race that would have made this race sexy and fucking fun.
Yes.
No red flags. No red flags is the red flags. This is the Red Flags podcast, and red flags red flags are a good thing as long as everyone's not hurt. Red flags make
red flags keep people safe.
Yep.
That's right.
Marshals, drivers, crane operators, fans,
and red flags are
protesters that storm the track.
Right.
People that you go on dates with, when they give you red flags, that's like saying, "Stay away from me. Stay away from me, because I'm going to hurt you."
But guess what? Red flags. But guess what? Red flags also do. Red flags are also sexy.
Yeah.
A lot of times people go towards red flags because they know that the sex is going to be good, because they like that hurt. They like it. They like the way that it hurts.
Is the sex even good? Is the sex even good with a red flag, with someone who's red flags, or is it just like when they're just holding your head under the water? and then when you have sex with them, it's like they let you out from under the water, and then
right,
it's just you
right.
breathing.
Yes,
It's just you breathing.
Yeah. The toxicity of the person is
God.
like kind of toxic people are toxic, but sometimes people like toxic.
I think about the sex I've had with red flaggy people, and it's like, I'm like, was the sex that good, or was I in so much pain? And then you have then you have the sex, and that's like, it's the relief from that pain.
Right.
For that 1 second, it feels so good.
Are we gonna start another podcast? Are you guys doing another segment just on just red flags, like not racing? It's like,
no, we just throw it all in this one.
Yeah, we
just
really
sprinkle.
That's why every episode's an hour and 45 minutes long, because we just do it. We just cram it all into one.
Yeah, because all you fucking pieces of shit that think they're like, well, because Abu Dhabi, it's going to be fair. It's never going to be fair. The sport is never going to be fair. The coach's son plays shortstop. You know what I'm saying? Like Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen are good because they have more money and they drive a faster car. It's not fair. This sport is not fair.
Are you saying it might be F1 fixed?
No, I'm not saying
that would be a good name for something, honestly. F1 XED fixed. Hey.
Don't
trademark. Trademarked.
Yeah, when we sell our fucking IP.
That's right.
And that'll be the one that we got to come up with the second one for when we start our next podcast.
Yeah. All right, y'all. What are y'all red flags of the day?
There was no red flag.
Yeah.
I mean, do we need to fucking extend this?
Yeah. Can we
can
come to a consensus? But was there anything else?
Blake,
anything else, Blake?
I had a red flag. We had two Mercedes engines pop during the race.
Oh yeah,
Ricardo and Vettel.
Two Mercedes engines popping.
What happened
during the race.
What happened with But what happened with Stroll? Was that an engine thing or no?
Oh, he ran out of money. That thing just burns Canadian dollars, and he ran out. He ran out of coins to put in the ride. I have no idea.
Happened with Lance? What happened, Lance?
Maybe they saw a similar issue, because it seems like so we've got two customer Mercedes cars today popping. It's not. Is that going to make?
How come
the
customer cars pop and the Mercs?
I mean, do you want me to shit post? They're giving the basically what happened was they got both of those cars. They got Ricardo. They hit the button. Toto hit the button so that Russell could have a shot to put on some new tires and challenge for the second place of the podium, so that Sainz wouldn't catch him.
Oh, I thought you were going to say something that's like actually within the realm of possibility, which is
no. I was reading Twitter today, and they confirmed that is entirely plausible. And the sport is so corrupt and fixed that anybody can do anything. So Toto told Ricardo to retire the car. So they blew up his engine with his remote button. You see him pushing on the radio panel. There's a button for detonate all the customer team cars.
But actually, do they get the same engines? Because why do those engines blow up all the? No, but why is Zhou and Bottas? Why are their engines blowing up all the time?
That's a very interesting question. That maybe they're just
why
giving them all the
customer engines blowing up all the time?
That is a very good question.
Yeah, and
I don't have the answer to that one.
Okay.
Interesting. Well, I like that you are coming in with an absolutely wild take that Toto Wolff is
Russell
breaking the rules. But meanwhile, last week, Yuki Tsunoda stops on track, goes back into the pits. They take 30 seconds to put his seatbelt on. He goes back out. Within 2 turns, he's off. And you're like, actually, if you look at the data, that seems actually completely above board. As a former Red Bull engineer, and we all know how much you guys actually liked working for that company, as much as you pretend like you did it. We know that you guys are company men. You guys were company men.
They're still paying me to just keep my bias up, man. I'm just waiting for that check every month. And it's like, if they don't, that defamatory tweet's going out that is completely
Blake, how long does your NDA last?
I have no idea. I need to check, actually. But I need to check, honestly.
Because Dan fucking is about that action.
Spilling the beans. The
How,
memoirs of a former engineer.
Not to tease a competitive podcast because we're gonna cut this section. But you have a podcast coming out. How the fuck are you gonna keep a hold of your NDA while Dan wipes his ass with his?
I listen. If Dan goes down, Dan goes down. Dan is a man. He says it with his chest, and he fucking leans into the meme every time. Me, I'm a calculated man. I'm a data guy. I don't roll those dice, buddy. But I did successfully pick the top 5 of this Grand Prix before the race. I picked all 5 in order. Yeah, it was pretty impressive.
Whoa.
And what was, and how did you like?
I just fucking picked 5 drivers. I didn't give a shit.
Okay. All right. You
didn't
say,
think there's
okay,
some
this
Moneyball angle coming? No way, bro. That was chaos.
Did you know where like all the penalties? Did you know that like Lewis was starting in the back? You still thought Lewis and Sainz were going to start the back?
I made that prediction after I saw the starting grid. Yeah.
Interesting.
So
not a lot of faith in Checo then. Not a lot of faith in
5.
Checo. More faith in Lewis and Carlos starting from the back than your boy Checo.
I just did like he's been a little bit off the pace, and I thought that made sense. Lewis has been fucking rapid lately.
Okay, so we've got off, but then you're talking about Singapore and you were going into a little bit, but yeah, tell us a little bit about what to look for next week coming in with Singapore.
Singapore, everybody's gonna be putting their biggest, dirtiest, nastiest, draggiest, sluttiest rear wings on the car. You can put, little bits of furniture and the flicks and the bodywork that add shitloads of drag for a little bit of downforce. You'll fucking have it. Downforce doesn't matter, or drag doesn't matter around Singapore. I think we might see much as, Red Bull had a shitty qualifying in Hungary, but Hungary is another one of those big wing tracks, right? I think we could very much see Mercedes coming back really, really making a mess of the place in a good way.
Is Merc going to catch Ferrari, you think?
It could. It's very much within the realms of possibility. And if it happened, I would not be surprised at all. After you've seen the season, them fucking up. I feel like the final stretch of this season, it's gonna get slutty, dude.
Yeah, that would honestly be amazing if they were able to do that. Because we had a little clip about the Ferrari business model go a little bit viral on the internets.
Oh, yeah?
And people were like, the Ferrari deniers, coming in being like, they're second best. That's still good. They're second best. That's still good. And I'm like, they're about to be third. And I commented that on a couple of things. They're about to be third. If Mercedes can catch them, given the year that they've had, it just speaks that much more to the disease that is the Ferrari.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I feel bad for Ferrari fans because that's one of those things where the Ferrari fans have been in this for a fucking long time, bro. They've been in it for a long time.
They got in because they were front running pieces of shit.
Yeah, and then
and now they're getting their comeuppance.
And then they paid some money under the table to cheat for 1 or 2 seasons, and they still didn't fucking win. So
right,
yeah,
that's what I say to that.
Yeah,
but they're clean now, and they still fucking up and can't win. Despite
that's why
starting the season with the fastest fucking car.
By the way, maybe Blake, you can comment on this. Everyone was talking about how Red Bull is going to get fucked by the floor changes. Seems like Ferrari's getting fucked. Did Ferrari cheat more than Red Bull?
Were either of them cheating or skirting on the regs? It looks like Ferrari has taken a bit of a whack on that, but is it a lot? They're still getting fucking poles, man.
Yeah, but they're not winning races.
But yeah, it's one of those things.
They cheated, Blake. It's okay.
Okay, lean into it. They cheated again, and it's fixed.
Well, speaking of Ferrari, we do a fun little segment. I don't know if you knew that this is a new thing that we do. We do
a new one.
It's called the Fuck Ferrari segment.
Okay.
Which was originally put in place because we're like, oh no, if Ferrari has a good season, we still got to get our licks into Ferrari. So why don't we do a segment at the end where what we do is that we review their products. We read reviews of their products. And because, we were talking about the business model of Ferrari on this TikTok on the pod last week. And we were talking about how they do all this stuff. They sell their cars to race, and then they do a 12-second pit stop. They sell their cars to race, and then they hit Charles Leclerc at the wrong time at Monaco, and he's screaming bloody murder.
That was a great video, by the way.
But then people were like, well, it's the brand of Ferrari. They brand fucking everything. And the branding, it's like, for the craziness of how intense they are about the cars that they sell, that if you buy a Ferrari car, you can't sell within a year. You can't change the color. You can't do anything that you want to it. You have to keep it to their spec, even though you spent $300,000 on a car that apparently after 25,000 miles starts breaking down, that they had to take all their cars, they had to recall all their cars after 2005 because the fucking brakes were all fucked up. But they still have time to make a toilet spray. Because they care about the brand. Bro. They care about what the brand says. They don't want to pollute their brand.
Honestly, though, I thought the brand has fallen in my estimation since they started getting in F1. I thought Ferrari was a cool brand until I got into F1.
Yeah, exactly. When you're watching F1, you're like, I would never buy a fucking Ferrari.
Isn't that crazy? I dreamed as an American, my view of Ferrari was like the fucking car from Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
bow.
Well, Matt, remember I wore a Ferrari hat for years in middle school.
Yes.
I wore Ferrari that thing to the bone.
You should go in a time machine and go tell yourself, you little fuck, take that shit off your head.
Well, we were red pilled. We believed something about them that wasn't true.
Is now that we watched what they actually wanted, what they're actually about.
Right.
I would never buy one of their cars.
Right.
Anyway. I'm buying a fucking Porsche 911, dude.
Yeah, that's what I want Porsches too. So here's
I'm all about risky business. Porsche, there is no substitute. Anyway.
Now here is the review. This is a review of the Ferrari Scuderia Red de Yeux toilet spray. Title of the review: cheap stuff. The review reads: Ferrari colognes generally smell very basic and somewhat watery. They lack all the subtle tones that are in real colognes, so they simply smell like one thing. I own Ferrari Black and Ferrari Red. Ferrari Red is one of the worst colognes that you can find on the market. You do not buy these colognes. You are better off slapping on some aftershave or using some really strong shampoo or body wash. If you like smelling like you bought some little kid cologne, go ahead and use this. Otherwise, you are better off with a designer brand. No one is going to smell it and say, you smell like Ferrari. I'm going home with you tonight. I would wager that that even other Ferrari cologne wearers would assume that you just are wearing Superman or SpongeBob cologne.
Can I just say one thing?
Yeah.
The person who wrote this review sucks. Most people who write these reviews, I love and want to be best friends with. This person, I guess, seems to like fancy themselves a fucking sommelier of fucking colognes and talks about little kid cologne. Where are these little kid colognes?
Right. And why do you know what they smell like?
What do you know?
That guy's going to jail. Oh my God.
What isn't Ferrari putting a fucking branding on, and they make you do all this shit with the car?
That's a turd.
And they're gonna finish third this year.
So shout outs. So we have some key shout outs today. Todd, who just wrote here for our weekly installment. Lee gave us 100 bones.
Let's go, Lee.
She wants us to do a fucking live show, and guess what? We are. So
yeah, we're doing a live show. We're going to be doing a live show in Austin Sunday night after the race. I think at 8:30 or 9. I think it'll be at 9 in downtown Austin. We're doing a live show at a comedy club. Stay tuned for details. If you're going to be in Austin, come see a live show.
See you guys there.
Come or you're dead.
Are you going to be there?
You guys, red flags suck. Fuck you guys.
Are you going to be in Austin, Blake?
I will be in Austin. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't even have general admission or anything.
Yeah, we don't have tickets yet either.
Yeah.
I booked a flight. I'm just kidding. I'm just gonna come be really slutty and
Hell yeah.
I'm gonna buy you a drink.
Hell yeah.
Riley, thanks. Shout out to Riley. Shout out to Nelly. Shout out to Henry, who gave us $300.
Henry, you're a mad lad.
Henry the God.
Yeah, Henry the God.
Henry the Goat.
Scott, who said the Dark Lord is going to piss on the tires of Ferraris at Monza like the dog that he is. You fucking jinxed Alonso, you piece of shit, Scott. Eliza,
never listen again. You're a dick.
Eliza supporting the Fuck Ferrari segment. Alana, mock Patreon. Yeah. So thanks to all you guys.
Fantastic. So predictions for Singapore.
I think Max is gonna win. I think this is fucking good, just the most boring fucking shit that's ever happened.
Yeah, I'm with that, but I'm most curious to hear what Blake has to say.
I think Max will win, but I think we will have some Max and Lewis track action for the first proper time, not on different strategies, not coming through. I think you might see them on the same lap at some point.
Shit, that would be amazing.
And I think that's a I would love to manifest that, to see them racing again on track, because when's the last time we saw any of the guys actually fucking racing up at the front?
Yeah, no. I mean, like
the
first week, the first race with Leclerc and Max.
Yeah.
But not really anything since then. All right, everyone, manifest that. Manifest Max and Lewis getting
Maybe
after it
Uncle
again.
Chuck can come as well. Little Chucky can come hang out as well.
Yeah, Leclerc can be there as well. Get those three fighting at the top. That would be great. Blake, what else you got going on? Tell the people what else you got going on, where they can find you.
Honestly, so on the regular, I'm posting. I'll do, like, if you're into like a little bit geeky but not too deep geeky, technical breakdowns and analysis on YouTube at BRRRAKEF1. I'm live streaming some of those segments on Twitch at Break. Playing a bit of F1 Manager, playing a bit of F1 22, maybe fucking around playing some Escape from Tarkov, but that's usually when I get all my Formula One work done. Then I can play shooter video games. But that's basically what I'm doing. A little bit of TikTok, Twitter, Break on Twitter. And that's me. Like right now, my game plan is just to make time to hang out with guys like you, because you guys were one of the first pods I hopped on, and I've been really enjoying seeing you guys thriving. I love when your shit comes up on my TikTok when I'm scrolling through and I'm like, oh my God, what are these sluts doing right now? I love it. I love it. And that's me, man. Just grind. I'm looking forward. I'm going to Austin. I don't have any game plans. I don't have anything figured out yet, but I'm going to manifest a W somehow, man. Manifest that W.
Hell
That's
yeah.
me.
Well, we will see you. We'll see you in Austin. Most definitely.
Can't wait.
And until next time, Avankers.
Yep. Follow us on TikTok and Instagram at the Red Flags Pod.
And rate us on, if you're listening on Spotify and you haven't rated, get us over to 1K, because we're almost at 1,000 reviews on Spotify. Give us a 5-star, because we've gone from a 4.9 to a 4.8, and I don't know who's giving us anything other than 5 stars.
Who did it?
But if it's, I don't,
bunch
we don't
of
know.
Fucking Ocon and Royal Family fans. Fucking useless. Twitter at the Red Flags F1. You could Venmo or PayPal us at Red Flags Pod. We want to do Patreon. We're in the middle of some negotiations. We don't know if we're going to be allowed to do it, so stay tuned on that. We got an intern. We said we weren't going to get an intern to all the people who applied, and we said we weren't going to have one.
We did it anyway.
Well, we weren't going to, and then we're in this this weird purgatory where we were like, wait, we need the help. We got to shout out to Beckett. We got to thank Beckett for all of his hard work that he did on the TikToks, and you'll see some of our merch. We're gonna have some merch coming out soon, so stay tuned for that. We got some fun. We got some fun, merch ideas.
Message us like what kind of merch you'd want.
Any
G-string,
favorite
a
quotes from the
Sidewinder.
pod? If there's stuff that you love that we say on the pod, we want to, do some fun quotes. And
Yeah,
stuff
we
like
can
that,
make
so-
one shirt and then you can fucking buy it.
Exactly.
Worst comes to worst. If you promise to buy it, we'll fucking design it.
Yeah. So we got to thank Beckett for his service to the pod, and we're welcoming Alex.
Good luck
who's
on the
helping us
ACT
now.
there, Beckett.
Yeah, Beckett took his ACT yesterday. I hope it went well. That kid's he's going places. Let me tell you that much. And his dad keeps DM, like engaging with us on Twitter. Shout out to Beckett's dad. What a ledge. Okay, Vankers. Until next time.
Goodbye, Vankers.
Gute Nacht, Vankers.
Nice.
Hell yeah.